So it was this young up and comer YouTuber, influencer, boxer versus, a legend in MMA, Nate Diaz, but an older Nate Diaz, a guy who has some miles on him. Is he taking the fight serious? I did not. Jake Paul not only matched the output of Nate Diaz, which Nate Diaz is known for that, but not only did he match, but he beat him in the overall. But I do think the overall takeaway should be this. There's a lot of people going, just because Nate is a quote-unquote well-known boxer in the UFC, Nate Diaz known for really his boxing, more so for jiu-jitsu and UFC, but his boxing ain't too shabby. His output, he's knocked out some of the best guys to ever do it in UFC. That doesn't mean it's going to correlate to the actual sport of boxing. There's such a big difference. The distance, you have to worry about more things in MMA. There's a ton of variables. The footwork. So I think people are expecting a version of Nate Diaz because we label him as this boxer, but he's good for MMA boxing. It's a big, big difference. And you saw that difference because Jake Paul doesn't have that MMA background. All he does is focus on boxing. All he's competing is against boxers day in and day out in that ring in Puerto Rico. Is it Puerto Rico? Yeah, it's Puerto Rico, right?
I think so.
So he's going to look, Jake Paul looked more like a boxer than Nate Diaz did on Saturday night. And that's because that's all he does. Nate does it, but he also has to worry about a lot of other things. So you saw some of his tech. With that being said, when I go, that was an impressive win by Jake. It's an impressive win over an MMA fighter, not another boxer. And Jake, this is exactly what Jake should be doing. This is where the money is at. This is where the fan base is at. Nate Diaz fan base is massive, massive. And so the knock on Jake is, yeah, but when he fought a real boxer, he lost. Yeah, because when Jake knocked him down in the fifth and almost knocked him out of the ring, like, Jesus Christ. The first round, he thought he was going to get him out of there. The fifth round, even though he knocked him down, I thought it showed composure. I thought it showed a young fighter learning from his mistakes, not trying to capitalize and get him out of there, which most young fighters, trust me, I know, I tried to do it myself, would rush in there and make mistakes, and that's where you lose fights. I thought that was a learning time for Jake, and he passed that test. So this fight wasn't that close. It wasn't that close again, nor should it be. All Jake does, he's younger. All he focuses on is boxing. Nate does not. Nate's at the twilight of his career. He has a lot of miles on him. Even if he decided to focus on boxing for the next year, he's probably still not going to look like Jake because he had. But again, you guys going, that's not impressive. He could have got him out of there. Nate looked like shit. No, Nate looked like a guy who fought in the UFC the last 15 fucking years and tried to fight in a professional boxing match. That's what he looked like.